The COVID-19 pandemic has affected the globe for roughly the past year and a half, but it has affected the United States specifically since March 2020. As the pandemic progressed, vaccines have been developed and have become readily available to the United States public. Despite the evidence that proves the safety and effectiveness of COVID-19 vaccines, some United States citizens are still hesitant or reluctant to get vaccinated. COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy has become very prominent within today's society and is a topic that is debated daily amongst the public. Because COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy has become a controversial topic, researchers have studied variables such as political affiliation and age that may influence one's decision to or to not receive a COVID-19 vaccine. Though previous studies have demonstrated correlations between COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy and age and COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy and political affiliation, it is important to maintain current and up-to-date knowledge regarding the status of COVID-19 vaccination perspectives amongst Americans. This is because the pandemic is still continuing, and as new data regarding the virus is provided by medical officials, people's perspectives are subject to change. So it is important to understand whether or not age and political affiliation are still relevant variables that contribute to COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy. Before the results of this study are explained, it is important to understand what vaccine hesitancy is and how it relates to COVID-19 vaccinations. Vaccine hesitancy regarding any vaccine is when a person demonstrates skeptical behavior regarding accepting a vaccine or outwardly refuses to receive a vaccine despite its availability and effectiveness. In addition, there are multiple factors that contribute to a person's hesitant and skeptical behaviors towards vaccinations: complacency, convenience, and confidence. First, complacency refers to how a person perceives the threat of a particular disease. Second, convenience refers to the availability and/or affordability of the vaccine. And finally, confidence refers to the level of trust a person has in a vaccine with regard to its safety and efficacy despite the data medical officials provide. Although COVID-19 is proven to be a dangerous virus with threatening variants, COVID-19 vaccines are free and available to everybody, and the vaccines are proven to be safe and effective. Why are people still hesitant to get vaccinated? Though complacency, convenience, and confidence have factored into some people's hesitant behavior to receive a vaccine, previous research has also proven correlations between age and/or political affiliation with COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy. With concern to the correlation between political affiliation and COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy, it is logical to assume that people who are receiving COVID-19 vaccinations are retaining different information from those who are hesitant to get vaccinated, and that the information both groups are absorbing is contributing to confidence levels in COVID-19 vaccines. This poses the plausible scenario that political affiliation may affect people's decisions to receive or not receive a COVID-19 vaccine. Prior research has shown that from the beginning of the pandemic, Democrats showed a stronger concern for the threat of COVID-19 than Republicans, and that Republicans have become more hesitant to receive a COVID-19 vaccine as the pandemic has progressed, while Democrats are more likely to receive them. Previous research has also shown Republicans are twice as likely to say that they either most likely will not or certainly will not receive a COVID-19 vaccine than Democrats. This aligns with research over recent decades that conservatives have demonstrated a growing distrust for science. Additionally, age has also proven to be a factor into one's decision to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. Previous data has proven that more than 50% of Americans in the 50 to 64, 65 to 74, and 75 plus age ranges are fully vaccinated, while less than 50% of people in each of the 12 to 15, 16 to 17, 18 to 24, 25 to 39, and 40 to 49 age ranges are fully vaccinated. This clearly shows that younger age groups are less likely to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. Furthermore, previous research has shown that approximately 25% of young adults ranging from ages 18 to 29 are skeptical about receiving a COVID-19 vaccine. Because older age ranges are more susceptible to underlying health problems and COVID-19 can be more harmful for them, the younger age ranges may not view COVID-19 as large of a threat compared to older age groups. Though previous research has demonstrated correlations with COVID-19 vaccine and age and political affiliation, the climate surrounding COVID-19 is constantly changing. Cases have continuously increased and decreased as the pandemic has continued, and scientists have learned more about the virus itself. So this means that individual perspectives regarding COVID-19 amongst the public are likely to shift. So it is important to understand whether age and political affiliation are still relevant factors for COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy. This particular research study sought to determine whether or not there is a correlation between COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy and age and/or COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy and political affiliation. In addition, there are two hypotheses for the study. First is that it is possible that younger participants are more hesitant to receive a COVID-19 vaccine than older participants. Second is that political affiliation may still be reflected in a person's decision to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. The participants of the study were specifically Louisiana State University at Alexandria students, who participated in a questionnaire called the COVID-19 Vaccine Hesitancy Questionnaire. After participants gave their consent, they responded to 4 questions inquiring about their age range, political affiliation, sex, and COVID-19 vaccine stance. For age ranges, the options were 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 54, 55 to 64, and 65 plus. For political affiliation, the options were Democratic, Republican, Independent, and other. For sex, the options were male and female. Lastly, the stances on COVID-19 vaccinations, the options were I have already received a COVID-19 vaccine, I will definitely receive a COVID-19 vaccine, I will probably receive a COVID-19 vaccine, I will probably not receive a COVID-19 vaccine, and I will definitely not receive a COVID-19 vaccine. The results of this study were interpreted by using a chi-square test of independence. A chi-square test of independence is the appropriate form of statistical analysis because this study is determining the relationship between categorical variables, COVID-19 vaccination status, political affiliation, and age range. This study showed no correlation between age and COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy. After charting the data, calculating the degrees of freedom, which was 20, and calculating the obtained value 14.22, the obtained value was determined to be lower than the critical value of 31.41, which means that there is no apparent relationship between younger LSUA students and COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy. Though the study did not demonstrate a correlation between age range and COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy, there were no participants in the 2 oldest age ranges, 55 to 64 and 65 plus. This means that by default, the data cannot prove whether or not the hypothesis regarding age is correct. If there were enough participants in each age range, it is possible that the hypothesis could have been proven to be correct. Additionally, this study did not demonstrate a correlation between political affiliation and COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy as well. After charting the data, calculating the degrees of freedom, which was 12, and calculating the obtained value, 13.73, the obtained value was determined to be lower than the critical value of 21.03, which means that there is no apparent relationship between political affiliation and COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy. Though the study did not demonstrate a correlation between political affiliation and COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy, there were not enough participants in each category. For instance, Democrats represented the majority of the sample at approximately 48.5%, which ultimately skewed the results of each COVID-19 vaccine stance category in favor of the Democrats. If there were an equal number of participants for each political affiliation category or an equal number of Republicans and Democrats, the hypothesis regarding political affiliation may have been proven to be correct. Also, roughly 87.9% of the sample were female, which indicates a lack of data regarding male perspectives on COVID-19 vaccines. Because this particular study on COVID-19 vaccine did not have a group of participants that accurately reflected the political affiliation and adult age range demographics of the United States, the results of the study do not hold much value or relevance to the subject matter. This study could have benefited from a larger sample due to the amount of categories offered per question. Nevertheless, while there was not an adequate number of participants for each age range, the youngest age range, 18 to 24, contained the highest number of vaccinated participants, which contradicts previous research. Future research should examine whether or not young adults are becoming less hesitant to receive a COVID-19 vaccination. In addition, this particular study was conducted as COVID-19 cases in the United States specifically were decreasing. So as cases are currently rising, studies with large enough samples should continue to determine whether or not age and political affiliation are still reflected in COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy.